Hey y'all, it's Chatara. Today we're going to be talking about freelance add-ons, okay? So this is how to earn more without adding more hours, alrighty? So I feel like this is more so for the people who have their services priced at a good point, but they're like, I deserve a little bit more. I mean, you can raise the price if you want to, but really this is for the people who don't want to do that, but they just want to have add-ons, and we'll talk about what that stuff is, okay? And I know that a lot of you guys are overworking yourselves for the same price, and that's what we're here to talk about today, okay? So because I know you're already doing too much, so let's talk about this. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is what the problem is. So the problem is you're doing more than you're charging for. Okay, if they ask you for something, you do that one thing and that's it. And you might be like, oh, well, I could just be a little nice and add. No, get the money for the extra stuff you're doing, okay? Like, that's the reason why you're stressed out. That's why you feel like freelancers don't make any money, because you're doing too much for free, okay? So designers often go above and beyond, but only invoice for the basics, and we're going to fix that today, okay? And also, we're going to talk about what kind of add-ons you can add on as well, okay? So add-ons are optional and or additional services that are tied to your main offers that you have, okay? So this is just extra value for the client and it's extra income for you. So it doesn't have to be something that's required. So if you're offering something like a logo service, and you're making logos for people, if you want to give them a bunch of different variations of the logo, like maybe you have that one main logo, maybe you want to make it to be horizontal and vertical, or like a badge icon kind of design. So all those different variations, those can all be add-ons. All right. So something else I want to talk about too is what are some examples of add-ons. So you could make social media graphics for someone, or templates like in Canva for them to keep going back and using. You have a brand voice cheat sheet. So when you see like those sheets that show what fonts to use, what logos, maybe what tone to talk in whenever someone's making a caption or some kind of post online. So all of that content, and just like describing it in detail, using Canva or Adobe tutorials for your clients. So let's say you have a client who knows how to use Photoshop a little bit and they're asking you to do something a lot more complicated. They may say, oh, well, I know how to like add pictures or add text or change the fonts or whatever, but they might not know how to do something like cut out a background. They're going to come to you and ask you that. Now, you could say, oh, well, I mean, here's a YouTube link, or you could sit there and walk them through and show them how to do it. And that can be, you charging more money for that because you're taking the time. You're using your computer. You're using your electricity to run your computer to be able to, show them this additional thing. So all those extra things. But simple animations or mock-ups, print ready file prep, and strategy calls. Now, I will say when it comes to the mock-up part, that's kind of, because whenever I make a mock-up for someone, let's say for logos, because whenever I make logos for people, I put the logo on a shirt mock-up, and I also put it on a business card mock-up and packaging, like for a box or something like that. Now, I include it in my stuff because I raise my prices for making logos. So yeah, so it just kind of depends. I'm not saying you have to do these kind of add-ons, but these are just some examples. So yeah, and for print ready file prep, depending on what you're doing, you might have to go like the extra step to make sure that something is print ready. So again, it just depends on what it is that you're doing. All right. So something else I want to talk about too are pricing your add-on. So there's three different ways that you should look at it. So you have your value-based pricing. So this is what is this actually worth to the client. Okay. Then you have your flat fee. So this is the one simple price. It's just a really easy price. So maybe you have one set price, and no matter if someone wants like something a certain way or not, it's still going to be that one price. And then this is probably my favorite one. I believe really probably flat fee and bundle pricing are my two favorite. But bundles, you can tier things in a certain way. So maybe you have a starter pack, a plus pack, a deluxe pack, gold, bronze, silver, whatever. So you can name it whatever you want to. But this is a really smart way to go because it lets people choose their budget. So it helps you to keep it like, looking good, but it's also just thinking smart at the same time. Okay. So now, when it comes to your contracts, your proposals, stuff you say in emails, whatever, you want to make sure that you're not shocking your clients later. Okay. So everything that needs to be said, say it ahead of time. So if you're saying something like, hey, you get this many revisions, I'll only do this, I'll only do that, make sure you say it ahead of time. So you need to make sure you're setting those clear boundaries. So yeah, just state what's included and what's not included ahead of time, because you don't want to be in the middle of a project and then they say, hey, can we do this? Instead, you would rather want to say, oh, well, in the proposal, I said, if you want that, you got to pay this much extra. So you don't want them to be like, oh, well, you're charging too much. Ma'am, I told you ahead of time. Now, if they don't read the contract, if they don't read the proposal, that's on them. So now you can just gently nudge them and say, hey, it was in the contract. Make sure you read it. So they can't try to act stupid on you. Okay. Don't let these people play you. Don't let them play you. Okay. So as long as you put this stuff in writing ahead of time, you'll be just fine. Okay. So they should have just read it in the first place. But yeah, so just make sure that you're putting the add-ons in your proposal or your welcome guide, your onboarding files, whatever. Okay. So also I want you guys to comment one of these emojis if you're going to update your service list. Okay. So this is just me trying to make sure y'all still awake. Okay. And also, yeah, so send this video to a freelancer who you feel like does too much work. Okay. Because they probably need this. This is your sign to stop doing too much. Okay. Just do what they ask for and get out of there. Okay. It's okay to do like some nice things sometimes, like in the beginning. But when you get to a certain point, like at your job, if you're working at, I don't know, I'll just say Wendy's. If you're working at Wendy's, if they tell you, hey, all you need to do is clean the bathroom, that doesn't mean that you need to go ahead and decorate the whole place for Halloween. They didn't ask you for all of that. They just said clean the bathroom. But anyways, yeah, comment one of these business emojis or any kind of business emoji that you want to outside of this, if you're still awake and if you're going to update your service list. All right. So let's keep it going. So I want to talk about what your first add-on is going to be, or your first 2 or your first 5. Okay. So look at your last 3 projects that you did and then ask yourself, what did you do that was not originally part of the deal? And then you can make that your first add-on. So for example, like how I was saying with the whole mock-up thing, whenever I make a logo in the past, I would just make the logo and then just give it to them and that's it. Sometimes I would have people say, hey, can you put it on a mock-up? And knowing me, I'm like, oh, I'm already charging them this much. I might as well do it. No, charge them for it. Okay. I'm trying to think of some other things that people might do. I know that some people, let's say, if someone asks you for like different color variations for something, just so that way they can see it. I guess that kind of falls in the mock-up category. But yeah, let me actually go back to the examples list because I want you guys to like really understand what I'm trying to say. So let's say someone is asking you for maybe one flyer. Okay, they might say, hey, I have this event going on. I do these events monthly. Can you make me this one event flyer? So you'll make it and it's flattened, right? You might send it as a PNG or a JPEG. When you send it to them, they might say, hey, since I have these monthly, can you just send me over a template? They might ask you for your Photoshop document. They might ask you for, the Canva link, the Canva template link. Don't just give it to them. Charge them. Okay, so that's something that would be an add-on. Because like, for example, I know when you're on sites like Fiverr, they have these different tiers, and Fiverr and Upwork actually, but they have these different tiers. So like on the first tier, you just get the project, and maybe on like the second or third tier, if you pay more, then they'll give you the actual working file because they don't want you just to take their work and keep using the template over and over because that means you won't need them anymore, right? So just keep that in mind, you guys. But yeah, so again, just look at your last 3 projects. Think about what you did that wasn't in the contract or the proposal, and then you can end up turning that into an add-on later. Okay. And then yeah, that'll be your first upcharge right there. You gotta think smart, y'all. Okay. So lastly, I want you guys to know that you don't have to create brand new offers. Okay. I'm sure that your service list is already perfect. You just need to sprinkle some glitter on it. Okay. Like just, you just, like it says right here, you just need to price the magic that you're already doing. Okay. Cause I trust that you guys have a good price list. All right. So just let your extras become part of the income. Okay. So if y'all need me, I'm here. Okay. I just wanted this to be really brief. Don't let these people bully you into thinking that just because they're giving you money that you got to do whatever they ask you. Okay. It's your business. Okay. Don't let them play you. All right. So again, if y'all need me, I'm here. My name's Shatara, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Also, if there are any other topics you want me to cover, just let me know. Okay. So yeah, again, I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.